Hey friends, what's going on? Oh my goodness. How's it going? Welcome on back to Football Therapy. Avec moi, with me, your host, Jan. As always, my friend, I do hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. And welcome back to Chelsea News, which is, of course, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I mosey on down through all the news cycles, see what's been said about Chelsea, aggregating what I think might be interesting, giving you my thoughts on it, as always, and also asking for yours. In today's video, we will be going through Liam Rosenier's press conference in terms of what he said before the Man United game. Of course, we'll probably build a lineup for that here as well, for a bit of fun. We've been in turgid, horrible, stinky, nasty, unpleasant, abhorrent, harrowing form. And this could be a seminal game for Chelsea under Rosenior. And indeed, Bluco. Of course, there's the protest as well before the game, which I will show you the details for those of you interested. We'll also go through a Chelsea Confidential article by Kieran Gill on the Mail to just basically talk about what's going on. With the more generic Chelsea news. So it's going to be a good vid. Remember, gang, you can also consume this in podcast format by simply searching Football Therapy Podcast on all the usual places. And I would be very grateful, very, very grateful, if you could give me a follow and 5 stars on said podcast platforms. And of course, I'm always grateful for your support here on Football Therapy. My friends, we're going through it, ain't we? It's a tough time, but together, we'll make it through. Somehow. Alright, so yes, before we speak about the Chelsea Confidential article and the Rosenior presser, we are just preparing stuff here. I've got overlay stuff, by the way. Look at this. Cool. New overlay graphics, huh? Huh? Pretty. I know what you're thinking. And yes, pretty cool. But we should start with the protest. Of course, I'd be very interested to see the turnout because the vibes are so down. You would think it'd be a contributing factor. So this is from Not a Project, who are the organisation group. Meeting at the Wolfpack Inn, 6 p.m, not too far from Stamford Bridge. Chelsea and Strasbourg fans flying down from France to get involved with this. We marched together towards Stamford Bridge to make our voices heard against Blue Co. I'm always a big proponent of having your voice heard. Should you feel like you want to protest, there's your opportunity there. Even for me, personally. I heard Matt Law talk about this on the London is Blue pod. I don't think it should be criticised because fans should always have their voices heard. Always. As soon as you have that taken away, the people have lost. That sounds dramatic, but it's true. And even if it's called Blue Co out, I think, or it's certainly titled Blue Co out, but even if, you know, some protests don't make the current iteration, this like current Chelsea custodian sell, at the very least, knowing that the optics are bad for them, that they're not going to get an easy ride, and maybe, hopefully, it could, you know, make them change the model, see some of the mistakes they've been made. Excuse me, I just had a big lunch. Just for context, I've been pretty consistent on this. I wouldn't cry if they left tomorrow. It'd be more of a case of being very, very concerned about the current football ownership landscape and what could come next. You know, and in some ways that Abramovich and Rain Group looked after Chelsea and protected Chelsea in the sale, I'm not sure Blue Co would do the same when they sell. Which makes me a bit worried for Chelsea. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. So, using my cool new overlay graphic. Yapow! Check this out. I need to, maybe flip my webcam, although that would give me a headache if I'm looking in the opposite direction. This is what I used to use back in the day. You might remember these graphics from vintage Football Therapy. I've changed it a little bit. So this is Kieran Gill on the Mail Plus, which is of course paid service. Chelsea Confidential. Inside the plans for a crazy, you're crazy, summer transfer window. The two Premier League centre-backs that fit the Blues Chiefs checklist, and the latest on Cole's comeback, which of course Rosenior did speak on in his pre-match presser. He's going to play in an under-21s game soon, which is great. It's been a troubling spring in West London. Chelsea are out of the Champions League and their hopes of returning to it next season are slipping away. Fans are planning a protest, or what we've just spoken about, and the players are disgruntled. Blucher have reported more losses financially, and of course many of you would have seen as well, there was like publicised figures of how the directors have taken a pay increase, which is very unpalatable and unsavoury. I did also read something else. I'm not sure what is the truth, that because there's more sporting hierarchical members of staff, that the salary for that department went up. I don't know if that's true, or rather than, certain individuals just doubling their salaries. I don't want to say one way or another until I know definitively. Blucher report more losses. Questions are mounting over Liam Rosenior's future. Sorry, it's just so emotional. Like I said before, I've got this weird spring hay fever that just won't leave me alone. But there's still a huge amount to play for. An FA Cup semi-final against Dirty Leeds next week for a start, and three straight Premier League defeats without scoring. Oh my god, it's gross. That we've been so bad, have damaged their top 5 chances. The gap to Liverpool is only 4 points, with a titanic clash to come at Anfield on May the 9th. The Titanic. Let's hope they ain't the iceberg and we ain't the boat. It's good for me. It's great gear. It's lovely gear, that. Right, and that's before we get to the pivotal summer ahead, with reinforcements needed and a decision to be made over whether the Blues stick with their recruitment policy of signing young players of high potential, that of which Mark Cucurella has been calling out on the regs. Well, not on the regs, but in detail on the Athletic interview with Paul Blues, I believe it was. There's a huge amount to get into, and here's where our Chelsea expert, Kieran Gill, answers your burning questions. Right? Does Rosenior stay at Chelsea? There's a big one. My prediction is Rosenior stays in charge of Chelsea this summer, because only something approaching an absolute meltdown would force another change of coach. I mean, I don't think we're far from a meltdown. 3 consecutive losses without scoring a goal. Man protesting in the streets. Everyone, I mean, it's not to do with the coach, the financial stuff, but oh my god. I mean, we're in like meltdown genre, I'd say. I've been melting down for a long time, slowly inside. Thank you, Chelsea, for taking years off my life. Now what does that absolute meltdown look like? Well, there you go. Missing out on Champions League apparently does not constitute one. I'd say that's underachieving, but maybe not a meltdown. But what about missing out on the Europa League? What about missing out on the Conference League? That's for Chelsea to decide once the season is over. I can't do the Conference League again, man. Better know football. Do you know what I mean? Because it would just be a Conference League team. I'm delighted we won it. I thought it was a good experience for all involved. I thought it was a good developmental experience for Maresca and Chelsea and the young players. So I'll never regret it. We completed the set, but I do not want to go back. You know? It's like you've been to somewhere. You go to like somewhere that everyone hypes up. You're glad you've done it. You don't want to go back. You've done it now. You've had the experience, a niche kooky thing. I'm done now. I'm out. Get me out of there. You know, no more Thursday football, Uzbekistan, 78,000-mile trips sort of thing. Of course, I hope that none of the above happens while their noses have been bloodied over the last month. Yeah. They have been knocked out of the fight for Champions League qualification. They haven't been knocked out of the Champions League qualification fight altogether. Still 6 Premier League games to go, a trip to Liverpool to come. Still time if they get their act together. I feel like our act isn't together. I mean, we'll know after. It's Saturday, because Thursday at times of recording. He's on his presser. If we get slapped by United, who by the way have just lost to Leeds, who by the way is our semi-final FA Cup opponents, so could be some doom mongering there. If we get slapped by Man United, our act is not together. It's very, very separated. Our act has been blown apart into a million pieces, and they're separated by postcodes. When Rosenior signed a 6.5-year deal to join from Strasbourg in January, he was told he would face an immediate review in his first summer, and he's continuing to be heavily involved in recruitment meetings, to which he's even sort of flexing in press conferences, isn't he? Like, yeah, we're talking about players. Don't you worry. Yeah, you'll see. We got players. Nah, you just you wait. Recruitment meetings with the higher-ups, which suggests they're thinking long-term. Big collective joint sigh of sadness. Look, nothing against Rosenior. I hope he comes good. I just don't necessarily believe he will. And there should be pressure on Rosenior, mind. I mean, Tottenham have 3 managers since Chelsea last kept it clean. I can't even say the English. For those in the back, Tottenham have had 3 managers since Chelsea last kept a clean sheet in the Premier League. That, my friends, is filth. That is something I'm going to be hearing in my brain when I'm rolling around in bed tonight. I can't sleep. Those 2 London rivals will soon be facing each other in a friendly in Sydney, Australia, will we? This summer, as long as Spurs don't withdraw, because they might get relegated. We can't go to Australia. We need to prepare for the Championship. Right now, I think it'll be Rosenior taking charge then and preparing the players for 26-27 campaign. I really was rooting for him, but it's just so underwhelming thinking we're going to go into next season with just same. Don't swear, Jan. Don't swear. Deep breath, everyone together. Come on now. Calm. Basically, he reckons he'll still be there. So, centre-backs. Maxence Lacroix of Crystal Palace. They signed him for 18 million quid, or a deal worth up to 18 million quid. He has been good a couple of years ago now. Chelsea want to sign a centre-back to partner Levi Colwill. Yeah, pouring out for my boy Wes Fofana's form and the people's belief in him. The 26-year-old ticks most of the boxes we're looking for. Premier League experience, ticks. 63 appearances for Palace after 111 for Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. Central centre-back. Wow, we're going to play in a back three. Tick. He plays in the middle of a back three against for Glasner, though he's previously played in back four. Right footer, tick. Don't we need a left footer? We've got 1,000 right footers. It's only Colwill, and we're just assuming Colwill's going to be back and busy. He's tall, which is good actually. Physical, he's physical. Great. Passing, perhaps he isn't his best quality. Fine. The second one, and this is probably one that a lot of Chelsea fans like, despite the trigger warning, he's a Brighton player, which of course is Jan-Paul van Hecke. Apparently Kieran Gill interviewed him in 2024 and he walked out of it with an urge to phone my dad just because I could, after hearing Van Hecke discuss how he lost his father, who he described as his best friend. Oh, it was desperately sad. The Brighton centre-back told me he tells himself every game that his dad Goose is watching him from above, so he needs to perform like he knows he can to make him proud. You trying to make a man cry? What is this? What is this? He's a lovely person first and foremost. He's 25 years old. He's tall. He's a right footer. He's strong. And he even had a training ground bust up with Joao Pedro. Perfect! And no, it's not likely it would prevent him moving to Chelsea. He can pass out from the back. He's one of the top 5 defenders in the Premier League for passes played in the season and so on. Alright, Brighton. Alright, Brighton defender. Of course, we've had hits from Brighton, Caicedo, Cucurella, Joao Pedro. Let's not talk about Sanchez. Alright, let's speed this up. Let's speed this up, shall we? Come on then. It's going to be a long video, this one. Why does Rosenior suddenly have a say in transfers and Enzo Maresca didn't? I mean, do we even know that's true? But big question. Big serious question. Maresca told us he did, to be fair. Oh. He just said a few times in our press conferences that signings came with his approval. Take Joao Felix, for example. Yeah, I did believe in Joao Felix, but sad. If Joao was here, it's because I wanted to sign Joao. He insisted. Why? My guess is yeah. I think Rosenior with the exact same amount of control of transfers as Enzo Maresca did. Enzo just got peed off, I think, because of the medical team telling him to not play Reece James as much, which might. I know it's frustrating. He's your captain, an amazing player, but Reece is out currently injured. Probably should listen to the medical team. And he wanted loads more money, and he wanted to go manage City, yada, 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 whatever. He's done. He's out of it. Will Chelsea change their recruitment model totally, or will they tweak it a little bit, or will they ignore the fans' plea? We're told Chelsea are tweaking it. Can you, just more than a tweak? Can you, half turn the knob? Does that sound inappropriate? One of the questions to Rosenior last week was, you're doing a lot of hinting here. Can you clarify, are you tweaking the strategy this summer rather than it being purely youth-led? He did say, you'll see, wink, wink, nudge, nudge sort of thing, and the actions we take rather than the words I speak now. Doesn't mean he's totally abandoned. He did also talk about emotionally strong players, emotionally and mentally strong, rather than, old and experienced. With Levi Cole coming back. Oh, my door, 1 second. Right. My apologies. Where were we? Levi Cole coming back. We know it's going to be soon. So there's more questions here. Financial sustainable losses projection for the next year. Why aren't there journalists covering this? Oh, is this? Hold on. My green screen. You're seeing the truth behind the green screen. It's just a room behind me. I think there's financial journalists working within football who cover this topic comprehensively. I personally find Kieran Maguire to be among one of the fair ones. He loves digging out Chelsea, but fair F words at the moment. When asked, Chelsea sources insist they, on an operating basis, they're now fully structured to comply with all the regulatory requirements, and they expect to stay compliant. Boring. We'll see what happens if you keep burning money. Well, we'll have to see. What's the latest on Mudryk? There isn't really anything, of course. He hasn't played since Heidenheim in November 2024, and he's been training with Uxbridge. Who's in contract talks? Caicedo, since Christmas. Much like Fernandes, who's been making kissy faces to Real Madrid, probably because he wants to play for Real Madrid, or wants more money at Chelsea. Or maybe kind of both in a weird way. Levi Colwill as well. Why does Rosenior talk so much? Rosenior is obliged to talk a lot at the press conference as well as sit down with Sports, TNT, as Chelsea often are. They've also, because he's English and he speaks so well, he's going to have a stronger command of the English language than a Maresca, than a Pochettino. So TNT might be a bit more keen to chat to him a little bit more. I don't know. He talks well, but does he coach well? Okay. So let's land this plane in the final segment of today's content, speaking about the Man United game. United! So Bobby Vincent has done a little update on Football.London. He asked about Fernandes being returned. I don't ever tell the starting 11, but Enzo Fernandez has been training very well. It's business as usual in terms of team selection for the game. Colwill is going to play for the under-21s tomorrow, so this is important. Playing football, he's been on the grass with the boys. He's such an important player for Chelsea. Basically, so that's really, really good. We'll see him hopefully soon playing for under-21s and then being a matchday squads for Chelsea's first team. Other injury news, Trev has had modified training today. They'll make a decision on him. Reece is a little bit further away. So that's no Reece in the game. Chelsea fans protesting, of course, I opened the content with this. To be honest, every supporter has their viewpoint and wants their team to win games. Our job is to produce those runs in the long term. I respect every fan's point of view. Naturally, he's not going to say anything else on this, as is his position, you know. Speaks about Carrick doing a lovely job, but he's not surprised. He loved him as a player as well, because Rosenior is a Man United fan. He joked recently, he says, I was growing up, now I'm a Chelsea fan. It's work, it's his job. I'm really giving up so-and-so that he's a Man United fan, to be honest. But he's obviously going to have loved Carrick when he was younger, watching football. Probably similar age, but, you know, he still would have watched United games with Carrick playing, as he was a player himself, Rosenior. Problems in front of goal and United's inexperienced defence. I don't want to talk about individuals of other teams. Yeah, it'd be a bit weird if he did. We have the way we play in terms of the chance creation. We're still really good. We just have to take in those chances. I need to sneeze. I'm allergic to BS. Just on a quick one. I was on Instagram looking at Chelsea's uploads of the Everton 4. I mean, it's rich, isn't it, after we get touched up recently by Everton 3-0 recently. But Palmer's 4 goals against Everton. And, of course, the fourth was a penalty. The first and third were beautiful goals, combined with Nico Jackson for the third, lobbing Pickford for the first, lobbing Pickford for the third. But even the second one is movement in the box and this little brave header to finish off a move. Like, I just looked at that clip of Cole Palmer. I'm only thinking of this because he's chatting about individuals. And I thought, where the hell is this kid? Like, what is that? We didn't see that under Maresca. We saw him getting, like, you know, the crescendo of the season, like Conference League final and Club World Cup final. It was about Palmer, right? He won man of the match in finals, so therefore everyone was like, oh yeah, Palmer's sick. But we forgot, like, under Maresca, he wasn't great. Maresca got a lot of criticism, like, he's coaching out the joy of Palmer. Of course, this was under Pochettino. There's 4 goals at Everton. By the way, I'm not romanticising about Pochettino as a Chelsea manager, but his greatest legacy, of course, is Cole Palmer. Or like what he did for Cole Palmer. I just watched that clip and I was like, where is this kid, man? Do you know what I mean? Indeed. Non, je ne regrette rien. Toughest run as a manager. Has this been your toughest run? We're not in a good place. In terms of results, in terms of myself, I need to give the energy to the team. We've had some really good conversations. He has a lot of good conversations today, old Liam. Lots of conversations and good ones. And training sessions, they're important. How about good games? How about let's start with a good half of football? How about let's start with good finishing and goals? Outside noise, yada, yada, yada. Did Fernandez's situation affect the group? Is this not that I'm aware of? How do you turn this around? You focus on what you can control. What do you want to see from your Chelsea team? He did say, I want to see the first goal. Do they still believe they can reach the targets like Champions League? Of course! Of course they believe. I mean, I'm not sure I believe, mate. But I'm glad you, man, do. So, on belief, we got to play Man United. Should we look at Man United? They did just lose to Leeds, which is great fun, obviously, although, you know, giving Leeds confidence before they play Chelsea. Here we go. 1-2 at home. Lisandro Martinez getting sent off. Harry Maguire unavailable for the game as well, which suits us. They were sort of dominant in stats, but not hugely. They had one more shot. Of course, I think they played better when they went down to 10 men. So you can imagine in terms of lineup, something similar like this. But without without Maguire still, without Lisandro. So, who would it be? Is De Ligt available? Let's look at the bench. Yeah, let's look at the bench. Ooh, Aiden Heaven, maybe? Maybe Heaven? Heaven comes in for Martinez, and you got your own Heaven, which is very inexperienced. Hopefully it is that. We can score some ruddy goals. We can beat this team, man. Look at this team. We can beat them. Right? With what team, though? So let's build our own. Let's build our own team. Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be Robert Sanchez in goal, in net. Hanging about the onion bag, eating paella, whatever, you know. Whatever offensive generalization I can make. Cucurella or Hato? Cucurella probably like our best player against Man City, so Cucurella. Reece James unavailable. Malo Gusto slam dunked straight into the lineup at right back. Also, I think Chalobah starts, even if they take him off and protect him. Maybe you think they're saying they're going to make a decision on him. I think he might sneak back into the lineup, and because he's such an important player for us and his experience. I don't think Chalobah is a Premier League winning starting centre back for Chelsea. That's been my opinion for a while, but I love him to bits. You know, that's why we're trying to sign loads of new centre backs. So who's going to play on the left? Unless you put Chalobah on the left and Fofana on the right. They did do that a lot, didn't they, actually? To be fair, I think they played okay like that. I was thinking about putting Mamadou Sarr in, but I'm actually going to do that. I think Fofana, and I know you rightly been criticising him. He's been pretty poor. But I think with Trevor next to him again, they had a good relationship when we found a bit of form. So get the boys back together, I say. That's what I say. Caicedo, I want to play. Caicedo, I'm going to... Lavia or Santos? Lavia or Santos? I really like Lavia, and we've been so poor. I know Santos is great, and many of you will say, but I just want to see it. That's how I'm vibing, man. I want to see Lavia. Right, so this is where things gets tricky. I do think Enzo comes back in. We are going to see the box midfield, so keep your powder dry. Obviously, Joao Felix. Joao Felix? No, not obviously Joao Felix. Joao Pedro starts as the striker. And obviously, Cole Palmer needs to play, but I'm going to play him in his less effective position. Not that he's being overly effective at the moment on the right. And is it going to be Garnacho? No. Is it going to be Gittins because he's injured? No. Well, Jan, that means you're going to play Neto out of position on the left. No. And I know he was really bad last game, and I know this isn't his starting position, but we have seen it before. I want to see Estevao. I want to see Estevao start on the left. Now, this would mean, gang, we can make in possession the box midfield, which would see Enzo Fernandez in his preferred left pocket, Cole Palmer in his preferred right pocket, Gusto holding the width, right-footed centre-back Fofana coming out slightly on the right, Cucurella tucking in and defending well. He will need to with someone like a Estevao in front. And there you go. Attack with 5, defend with 5. Your box midfield. A good Chelsea team. Now, let's have, despite us looking really bad of late, of which we have, gang, we've looked really bad. It's been bad for a while. I think we win this game. There you go. That's a bit of positivity for you. I think we beat Man United. I'll be very interested to cover that. There'll be another video tomorrow before the next game, but this is the preview. I think we beat Man United. I think without their centre-backs, they've just lost to Leeds. The mask might, hopefully, touch wood, might be slipping a little bit of Carrick. I still think they'll get Champions League because they've got the buffer. But I think we beat them at home. I think the fans the players react to the discontent. They'll feel a responsibility to put in a performance and a show for the Chelsea fans. The Man United missing his key defensive personnel at the back, I think's a thing. Like, genuinely. So, Yeah, I'm gonna go with a Chelsea win, not like a massive one, but I'm gonna go for like a 2-1 win, and then the belief will probably start coming back to the Chelsea fans in terms of what we can achieve, maybe in the qualifying for just Europe generally. Let me know what you think though, boys and gals. Please do leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. As always, I'm delighted to have had you with me along for the ride. Please do consider liking and subscribing on the YouTube. Also checking out Football Therapy clips on TikTok and Instagram. If you got any of those hype points, please, sir, drop your hype points down here. If you swipe the comment section on your mobile device, you can hype the video up. And of course, I do appreciate follows and 5 stars on your podcast apps by searching Football Therapy Podcast. Thanks, gang. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. And if you can, enjoy the football. Peace.